Airlines are denying boarding at record rates in August 2025, and most travelers never saw it coming. From new ID enforcement to surprise document checks, even being slightly rude could get you grounded before takeoff. Airport rules in 2025 are stricter, dumber, and more unforgiving than ever. It's not about how early you arrive or how nicely you smile at the gate agent. One dumb move and your seat's gone. Denied. No refund, no sympathy. Before you head to the airport, watch this. These 13 reasons could be the difference between takeoff and being left behind at the gate. Reason number 1, oversized carry-on luggage. Airlines have officially stopped looking the other way. If your carry-on is too large, they're not going to give you a pass anymore. At most gates, there are now metal sizing bins, and gate agents are using them. No more warnings, no more polite reminders. If your bag doesn't fit in that frame, you'll be told to check it right then and there. But if you refuse, that could cost you the entire flight. One traveler recently argued that her oversized case was just a little too tall and insisted it should still be allowed. The agent stood firm, and after 5 minutes of back and forth, she was told the door was closed. Flight missed. Another person refused to check a musical instrument and ended up left behind. A world-renowned violinist was once told to either check her 200-year-old violin or miss the flight. She chose her instrument over the flight. Here's the rule. If they say your bag is too big and needs to be checked, do it. Don't try to argue and don't expect leniency. This isn't 2015. Airlines are stricter than ever. Reason number 2, gate closed early. Most travelers still confuse departure time with boarding time, and that's a mistake that leads to missed flights every day. Just because your flight is at 3:45 doesn't mean you can show up at the gate at 3:40 and expect to walk on. Most gates close 15 to 20 minutes before the actual flight time. That means if you're out buying snacks, waiting in line for coffee, or scrolling your phone at the wrong gate, you might return to find the gate sealed and the plane already gone. And no, they won't come back for you. Even if you sprint to the desk while the plane is still connected to the gate, the agent won't open the door. For safety and schedule reasons, once it's shut, it's shut. Always aim to be at your gate at least 30 minutes before the flight, especially on busy travel days. Reason number 3, name mismatch on ticket. Your ticket must match your government-issued ID exactly. If your name on the ID says Jonathan and your ticket says John, that's a problem. Even middle initials matter sometimes, and so do spelling errors. You can be refused boarding for something as small as a missing hyphen or a flipped letter. Airlines and TSA don't care if it's a simple mistake. It has to match perfectly. One traveler booked a ticket for his friend under the name Fluffy McKittens as a joke. Funny, sure, but it almost cost the poor guy his whole vacation when he showed up at the airport with his real ID. If you see a name issue after booking, contact the airline immediately. Some changes are free within 24 hours. After that, it can get expensive or even impossible to fix. Reason number 4, missing check-in deadline. Being at the airport doesn't guarantee anything if you haven't checked in by the deadline. Most airlines close check-in 45 to 60 minutes before domestic flights, and even earlier for international ones. That includes bag drop and boarding pass printing. If you show up with only 30 minutes to go, your name may already be removed from the list, even if you're standing right there in the terminal. Big airports make this worse. Long lines, slow kiosks, and terminal confusion can eat up precious time fast. Don't cut it close. Get there early and get checked in well before that window closes. Reason number 5, facial recognition refusal. Facial recognition is no longer just some futuristic experiment. It's already in use at many major airports. Some international flights, especially those leaving the US, require it as part of the boarding process. If you refuse to have your face scanned, the airline may delay you or even stop you from boarding. Manual ID checks are still possible, but they're much slower, and some flights won't wait. One traveler missed their international flight because they insisted on skipping the scan, and the manual check took too long. If you're concerned about privacy, check the rules in advance. But if you're flying through a hub using this technology, be ready to comply or risk missing your flight. Reason number 6, being rude to staff. Many travelers assume that if they've paid for a ticket, the airline has to let them on. That's not true, not even close. If you're rude, aggressive, or disrespectful to any airport or airline staff, they can flag you as a potential safety issue and deny you boarding right on the spot. This doesn't just mean yelling or swearing, eye-rolling, sarcasm, ignoring instructions, or talking down to staff is enough to raise red flags. They don't care if you're frustrated or even technically in the right. They're trained to protect the crew and passengers. If they think you'll be a problem in the air, they'll stop you before you ever board. Airlines call it unruly passenger prevention. Once flagged, you may even be added to a no-fly list with that airline. Reason number 7, flight overbooked. Airlines still overbook flights on purpose. They gamble that some passengers won't show up, but if everyone does, someone has to be bumped. You might think this only happens to people who volunteer, but that's not always the case. If no one offers to give up their seat, the airline will choose. First to go are usually passengers with the cheapest tickets, those who checked in last, or people flying basic economy. You can't control the system, but you can reduce your risk. Always check in as early as possible, ideally right when the check-in window opens. Try to avoid the very lowest tier fares when booking, especially if it says non-refundable or basic economy only. Reason number 8, strong odor. If you smell too strong in a bad way, or even a too much cologne kind of way, you can be denied boarding. Cabin air is recycled and planes are tight spaces. If your scent is overpowering, whether it's body odor, cigarette smoke, or perfume that fills the whole cabin, other passengers may complain or have allergic reactions. If the crew senses that your presence could affect others' health or comfort, they're allowed to stop you from getting on. This is one of those situations where you won't get a warning. You'll just be told you're not flying today. Be mindful before your flight. Shower, wear clean clothes, and go easy on sprays or scented products. Better to be boring than banned. Reason number 9, wrong or damaged ID. In 2025, airline security has stepped up even more. That means your documents have to be flawless. If your passport is expired, even by a day, or looks too damaged to scan, you're not getting on the plane. If you're flying within the US, an old driver's license that doesn't meet real ID standards won't get you through security. For international travel, some countries require that your passport be valid for at least 6 months beyond your arrival date. If your passport has water damage, missing pages, or a bad photo, replace it before you fly. Always double-check the ID rules for both your departure and destination. Reason number 10, booking glitch, ghost reservation. You book a flight on a third-party app, or maybe your credit card payment didn't fully process. Everything looks fine on your phone, you get a confirmation email, but when you arrive at the airport, they say you don't exist in the system. This is called a ghost reservation. If it happens, you're stuck. No seat, no backup, and sometimes no refund. You may not know until you're standing at the check-in counter with your bag. To avoid this mess, always confirm your ticket directly with the airline at least 48 hours before your flight. Don't just trust the app or booking site. Go to the airline's website or call their support line to make sure your ticket is paid, confirmed, and showing up properly in their system. Reason number 11, mistakenly flagged, no-fly list. You arrive at the airport ready to check in, and suddenly you're pulled aside by security or a gate agent. You're told there's a problem with your name, but no one can explain exactly what. You're not being arrested, but you're also not being allowed to board. Most of the time, this happens because your name or details match someone who's on a government watch list or no-fly list. It could be as simple as having the same first and last name as someone else. Maybe you were questioned in the past or flagged during a previous international trip. Maybe a system glitch randomly connected your file to the wrong record. In some cases, it can take days or weeks to clear your name. By that time, your flight is long gone, your plans are ruined, and you've spent hours trying to get answers no one wants to give. To reduce the risk, enroll in programs like TSA PreCheck or global entry if you're eligible. If something like this ever happens, remain calm and ask to speak to the airline security desk or customer service manager. Reason number 12, missing required documents. Many airlines now require travelers to upload their documents online before they even let you access your boarding pass. This includes things like your passport details, visa information, proof of vaccinations, or other entry documents. If you skip that step and arrive at the airport thinking you'll just show everything at the desk, you could be in for a surprise. No boarding pass, no flight. Many countries now require travelers to have digital travel authorizations before departure. The two most common are Europe's ETIAs and the UK's ETA. If you're traveling to the EU, UK, or any other country using these systems and you didn't apply for and receive approval, you will be stopped at the gate. Bottom line, read every pre-departure email from your airline. If they ask you to upload anything, do it early. Don't leave it for the morning of your flight. Reason number 13, prohibited items in carry-on. A vape battery in your checked bag, a pocket knife in your carry-on, a bottle of lotion that's just a little too large. These may seem minor, but they can absolutely stop you from getting on your flight. At best, airport security will confiscate the item and send you on your way. But if your bag is pulled aside and you're not near the gate yet, you might lose 20 to 40 minutes waiting for screening. If boarding closes during that time, you're not getting on. The rules change often, especially for electronics, vape devices, and battery-powered tools. Always check the latest banned item list before every trip. When in doubt, pack it in checked luggage or leave it at home. Conclusion. No excuses in 2025. Airlines aren't the forgiving smile and nod businesses they used to be. They're regulated, overbooked, automated, and often under pressure. That means they don't have time to explain the rules you should have known. They'll just move on to the next person in line. Smart travelers prepare ahead, check everything twice, and respect the rules, even the dumb ones, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how great your hotel looks, how perfect your itinerary is, or how excited you were about that window seat. If you're not on the plane, none of it matters. Don't be that guy standing at the gate arguing with someone holding a clipboard. Be ready or be left behind. Everything we just covered assumes you make it through airport security in the first place. But TSA has quietly updated their screening procedures for 2025, and some of these changes are catching even frequent flyers completely off guard. Click on this video right here to learn about the carry-on crackdown and new TSA rules that could delay or stop you before you ever reach your gate. Trust me, you don't want to find out about these changes while you're standing in the security line with a plane to catch.